Welcome back to the Wasteland, everybody. Welcome back to Fallout 3, where today we're going to be taking a look at all the clothing in Fallout 3, and we're going to be ranking them here on our tier list. Now, we do have about 50 articles of clothing here, although there is a whole lot more. We'll be going over each of them as we go down, because a lot of these are just kind of color swaps of one another. So the main reason you're going to want clothing is not necessarily for the armor value, usually, because most clothing doesn't really give you a whole lot of armor. It's mostly something that you want to keep on you because it's lightweight and you can change into it to get some sort of status effect bonuses of. So let's begin with the full body clothing, which is any of the radiation suits or just the suits in general. First up, we have the advanced radiation suit. The advanced radiation suit actually has decent defense with 8 defense. That's pretty high for clothing. Weighs 5, has very low item health, and this gives you plus 40 radiation resistance. This one is generally going to be pretty good, unless you have power armor and power armor training, and you want to rush something like the winterized power armor, then that's just going to be better, because that at least gives you pretty good armor and still gives you comparable radiation resistance. Radiation isn't such a huge deal in Fallout 3, but this one is still pretty good, and it's one of the best for radiation resist, so I'm going to put this up into Survivor's Choice. If you really want to have something on you, this doesn't weigh too much, it weighs 5, so you can at least keep it on you for those highly radioactive areas, assuming that you're not running power armor. Up next is the Enclave Science Suit. This one protects for 3, weighs 2, has better item HP. This one doesn't have radiation resist, this is just plus 5 science. Plus 5 science is good. I mean, that makes it so you can hack stuff. The weight is fine too, only 2 weight is super easy to carry around, so if you want to hack computers and you don't quite have 100 science, then I'm going to put this in the common with casual. It's decent. Next is the environmental suit. The environmental suit you get from Moira. There is only one of these. This one protects for 6, weighs 6, so it is the heaviest of these suits, as well as this one still has very low item HP. This one has plus 30 radiation resist and plus 5 medicine. Plus 5 medicine is kind of good, but that's basically just for stim pack use, so if you want to swap to this to heal yourself up a little bit more, it's okay, but I don't think it's really worth it for carrying around 6 weight. You could probably do better than this, so I'm going to put this one in the Commonwealth Casual as well. It's okay. Then we've just got the standard radiation suit. You can find these all over the Wasteland. These ones protect for 5, weigh 5, have even less item HP. This has the lowest amount of item HP, I think, out of nearly any of the things that we're going to be talking about today. And it gives plus 30 radiation resist. This one's going to go into the Commonwealth Casual too, because at least it does serve some purpose. All the radiation suits are okay. None of them are amazing, but if you've never played the game before and you are concerned about radiation, I can understand carrying one around. And then our last suit is the spacesuit, which the spacesuit is unique to Mothership Zeta. This one protects for 1, weighs 5, has the most amount of item health, I think, out of any of the items actually here, overall at 10 million item HP. And this one lets you walk outside in outer space. This one is a quest-related item, which you do need to get through Mothership Zeta, so that is something to keep a hold of. You can't really get rid of it until you've at least gone through that part, because otherwise, yeah, I don't think it'll allow you to continue into the airlock, or maybe it will and it'll just kill you instantly. I never actually tried that. I've always had the spacesuit, but that's basically the only time you're going to be using this. So for a quest item, you kind of need it, but for an actual like suit for anything, it's going to go into tattered rags. 1 defense for 5 weight is just not good, and it doesn't have any other effects on it. So yeah, it's going to go down there. Then move on to our regular clothing, where first up we have the all-nighter nightwear. This is found in Broken Steel. This is the same as the naughty nightwear, at least in terms of looks, but it doesn't function the same way. This one gives you 1 defense, weighs 1, gives you plus 1 charisma, plus 1 endurance. That's actually pretty good. Plus 1 charisma is nice for getting through potential speech checks or just for getting better barter chance, although it is in Broken Steel, so you do have to get quite the way through the main game, and at that point you can get better stuff. So this one's also going to go into the Commonwealth Casual. It's okay. Nothing way crazy, but alright enough. Then we've got the Army Mechanic Jumpsuit. You can get this one in Anchorage, or I guess after Anchorage. And this one protects for 2, weighs 1, has decent item health, and gives you plus 5 repair. Plus 5 repair is fine. We already talked about the Vault Utility Jumpsuit, which probably should have been on this list. The Vault suits were kind of weird because it had armor as well as just the clothing things. But you can get that one right at the start, and it also gives you repair as well as lockpicking, so that one is just better than this. So this one's going to go into the Commonwealth Casual just because you do have better clothing options. Then we've got the Brahmin Skin outfit. This also goes for any of the Settler outfits because they're all the same. They just look a little bit different and they have different names. But all of these protect for 2, they weigh 2, and they give you plus 1 agility and plus 1 endurance. Plus 1 agility and plus 1 endurance are fine. There's not really anything that you need for either of those. Agility does affect like your action points and how fast you reload, which is kind of nice. And endurance makes you tankier, which is good, but this isn't really enough to be carrying it around. because just throwing on regular armor is going to be protecting you more often than these. So I'm going to put this one into the tattered rags. I don't really think that you need it. Then we got the Brotherhood Scribe outfit. This one is even worse than the last one we talked about because it doesn't have any pluses. Other than that, it has the exact same stats, so 2 defense and 2 weight. Just not really worth taking. I guess you could have them if you're fighting the Brotherhood, but yeah, they're going to go into tattered rags too. 2 armor, 2 weight is just not a good balance. If you want armor, there's better options unless you just really like the color of this. And then we've got the Chinese jumpsuit. This also counts for the dirty Chinese jumpsuit because these are exactly the same. These protect for 6, which is actually okay for clothing. They weigh 2, which isn't too much. The dirty clothing does have less item HP than the regular one, but that's the only difference. So you might as well go with the regular jumpsuit, assuming you can get them. And these give you +5 small guns. +5 small guns is okay, but it's still not really worth going out of your way for as opposed to just throwing on regular armor. You're going to get more value from that just because you're going to have more survivability. So I'm also going to put this one in tattered rags. It's just not really worth getting. Then we got Colonel Autumn's uniform. You can actually get this in the base game, although it is a little bit awkward as to how you can get it. So the way you can first get it is at the Project Purity. Once it explodes and everybody gets knocked down, you can go into third person, reach around the wall, and actually be able to grab both your dad's stuff as well as Colonel Autumn's stuff. And Colonel Autumn's is generally the better of the two because your dad's stuff kind of sucks. Colonel Autumn's protects for 10, which is actually pretty good. It also only weighs 3, so not a bad defense to weight ratio there. And it gives you +5 energy weapons and +5 small guns. This one's pretty awesome and it looks pretty cool, so I'm going to put this one up into Survivor's Choice. It does at least provide a decent amount of defense. It's still not as good as a lot of lightweight armors are, but it's okay enough, and the extra bonuses are actually pretty decent. Then up next we have the pre-war Businesswear. This both counts as the dirty version and the regular version of it. So this one protects for 2, weighs 2, kind of normal clothing stuff, and gives you +5 speech. This one's actually pretty good because you can get these really early on. So having +5 speech makes it so speech checks are a little bit easier. And since all speech checks are % based in Fallout 3, just having a higher chance of getting them done is a lot easier. It also makes it so if you want to reload your saves, kind of save scum through them, especially for certain rewards or for certain quest related stuff, it is kind of nice to do that. So this one is actually pretty good in the early game, and it's not bad to just be carrying around. 2 extra weight isn't really going to weigh you down, and having that extra speech checks is pretty nice. So I'm going to put it up into here, into Survivor's Choice, because of how early on you can get these. Up next, we have all the other pre-war outfits. So this is the Park Stroller outfit, the Relax Wear outfit, and the Spring outfit. Now, all of these are basically the same, with the weird exception that the Relaxed Wear actually weighs more. For some reason it weighs 5, so that one is the worst of these, but they're all not really that great. They all protect for 3, they weigh 2, with the exception of the Relaxed Wear weighing 5, and they give you +1 agility. These aren't really anything crazy. They're going to go into the tattered rags regardless. You don't really want any of them. They just weigh a decent amount. They're not worth anything. +1 agility doesn't really matter for any build right away, so it's just not worth it taking this over any sort of armor or just going for other clothing that gives you more bonuses than just the slight bonus that agility will give you. And then we got Dr. Lee's outfit. Hers is unique to her, which is a little bit different, and this one really isn't that great. This one protects for 3, weighs 2, and has no other effects on it. So this one's also going to go into tattered rags. If Dr. Lee manages to die, which she shouldn't at any point, but if you end up cheating this in or she does die, you can take this and it's just more of a reward than anything. It's kind of a unique item, but it doesn't really protect you that much. Same thing goes in the next one. We got Elder Lion's robes. These ones are exactly the same as Dr. Lee's outfit, so they're also going to go into the tattered rags. If you're going to choose to go against the Brotherhood, especially at the very end of the game, you can get this, which is kind of cool, but other than that, you're just going to cheat it in, and you're just going to be doing it because it looks cool, which, I mean, both these outfits do. I like his and Dr. Lee's quite a bit. They just don't have any other bonuses to them, which is kind of sad. Then we got the Enclave Officer outfit. This one you can get from any of the Enclave officers, and this one protects for 5, weighs 3, and gives you +5 energy weapons. This is kind of unique because there's not a whole lot of things that give you plus to energy weapons, but this is very similar to like the plus to small guns that we seen earlier with the Chinese jumpsuit, where it's just not really worth it, especially since you have to get pretty far into the main game, so you're just going to be taking this because of the way that it looks. And honestly, the Enclave outfit does look pretty cool, but it's just not worth having, so tattered rags it goes. Then we got Eulogy Jones's outfit, and this also would probably come with his hat, which you can find there, but you do have to kill Eulogy to take this. I guess you could potentially steal it off of him too, or reverse pickpocket him. And Eulogy Jones's outfit protects for 2, weighs 3, and gives you +1 charisma and +2 small guns. This is rather unique, and +1 charisma is better than some of the other things that we've talked about, as well as this suit does look pretty awesome, which helps it out a decent amount. So I'm going to go with the casual wear. I wish this one had something else to it. Like maybe if it had +5 speech on it or something. If it had all that, then this would actually be a pretty good outfit. But since it's just the +1 charisma and the +2 small guns, you're basically getting +2 small guns, +2 barter, +2 speech. And that's okay. That's not bad. It's just not amazing though either. All right, a bit of a weird one up next, but this is technically on the wiki and it's technically on there twice because there is 2 different outfits of it. So this is General Chase's overcoat, which is both associated with Operation Anchorage and Mothership Zeta. Now you can't get it in either of these if you're playing the game normally. The only way that you can get this is if you cheat it in with console commands, which is why I was a little bit hesitant to put this one on here because it is technically in the game and it does have interesting stats, which is what I would like to talk about. But you can't actually get it no matter how you want to go about it. You can't reverse pickpocket General Chase in Anchorage to steal it off of him. If you could, that'd be awesome because this outfit looks really cool. So General Chase's overcoat protects for 20, and then depending on if it's the Anchorage version or the Mothership Zeta version, the Mothership Zeta version weighs 25, the Operation Anchorage weighs 5. It drops 20 weight for some reason. And this also comes with +1 charisma, +10 small guns, and +5 speech. So that one has a lot of bonuses on it, and it's actually really good armor too. That's some of the best stats that you could ask for, especially from clothing. So something that doesn't weigh very much, assuming that you get the 5 weight version of it, even if you get the 25 weight version, you're still looking at something comparable to like combat armor. And this one still has bonuses on it. So I'm going to put this up into Wasteland Best if you do want to cheat it in. I wouldn't recommend that you cheat it in, at least not right away. Although later in the game, you could argue that there's not really, this isn't like the most overpowered thing in the game. You can actually get more overpowered stuff than this in the game. But if you just want to cheat it in, you absolutely can. And sadly, if you're playing this on console, that's not going to be an option, but it is something interesting to look at. Let's move over to General Jigway's outform, which you can actually get this one, which is funny enough. You do have to get this in Operation Anchorage, sort of, and it's a very awkward process of getting this. So the way you get General Jigway's outfit is actually by exploiting the Anchorage bugs that you can do. So the easiest way to do this is once you go to Operation Anchorage, kill everybody inside of the bunker with the outcast, shove all of their bodies into the pod, put on the neuro suit, which we'll be talking about here in a second, hop into the pod, go through Operation Anchorage, go through most of it, at least go for the first part. You can do the trick to get all of the weapons in there too. I'll have a whole video up at some point just going over all the Anchorage bugs that you can do. Then you have to kill the quartermaster, take his armor because he's the only one that you can loot, and you get the winterized combat armor, which is unbreakable from him. Then you have to get all the way to the end of the Jigway fight, hide somewhere to where you can reverse pickpocket Jigway, give him the combat armor, leave the area so that he follows you out, and then he'll be wearing that. Pickpocket him again, and then you can take his outfit. Then once you actually leave the simulation, you will have to click on one of the bodies before you technically leave, put his outfit on that body, then get out, then grab the outfit from the body again. There's a lot of steps involved in getting this, but this is probably one of the best things that you can actually get from Operation Anchorage. The main reason why is because General Jigway's outfit actually protects you for 25, which is a lot. That's better than a lot of armors. 25 is good, and this only weighs 2, so it is one of the best weight to defense ratios in the game, as well as this thing is basically unbreakable. It has the maximum amount of item HP similar to the winterized power armor. So if you want something that is a lot more lightweight than something like the power armor, but still protects you really well, this is one of the best options. So this one's also going to go up into Wasteland Best, and it's probably one of the best clothings if you want to be taking it as armor. The only downside is that this has no other bonuses on it. Up next, we have the Grifter's Fit. Grifter's Fit you get from the guy who takes you to Point Lookout. This one protects for 2, weighs 2, gives you +1 charisma, gives you +5 small guns. This is just better than Eulogy Jones's outfit. It's not much else than that, so it's still probably going to go into the Commonwealth Casual because I don't think it's really worth going for, unless you just want to rush this DLC and get it out of the way quickly, or at least rush the main quest to the point to where you can get him out of the way, and then you have free boat rides back and forth between Point Lookout and the capital Wasteland, which is really, really useful. Then we've got the Handyman's Jumpsuit. The Handyman's Jumpsuit you can find in Point Lookout. This one protects for 2, only weighs 1, and has +5 repair. +5 repair is good, but like we talked about, there's not really a reason for you to be going with +5 repair this early on. It's better than like the previous jumpsuit just because this one weighs 1. But it's still going to go into the casual wear. It's okay. Then we've got the lab coat and to some extent the lab technician outfit. The lab coat itself is actually related to broken steel, and it's better than the lab technician outfit, but I'm just going to group them into one here. So lab coat protects for 5, weighs 1, which is pretty decent for clothing, and it gives you +5 science. The lab technician is 3 defense, weighs 2, still gives you +5 science. +5 science is good. That's always nice, but it's nothing way crazy, so I'm going to put it up into the Wasteland Casual as well. Then we've got the Laborer's outfit. You get this one in the pit, and this is actually the very first reward that you get in the pit for collecting 10 steel ingots. And this one's actually pretty decent because of the bonuses that it gives you. It's not great for armor, because this does only protect for 5, it weighs 2, so it's not too heavy. And this one gives you +1 agility, +1 endurance, and +1 strength. That +1 strength is the real selling point to this one, because it makes it so you could potentially carry more stuff. And that's pretty good, especially since the strength bonus gives you 5 carry weight. So even though this one weighs 2, assuming that you don't have 10 strength, you're going to technically make up the weight from it anyway and still have 3 extra weight. It's kind of nice for just carrying things around, and that's usually what I use it for when I'm just trying to move stuff from pretty much the DLC back to my house in Megaton. And the outfit is actually okay. So I'm going to put it up into Survivor's Choice because it does actually have some use to it. Then we've got Let's Go's outfit. You can get this one in Grey Ditch, or at least underground in Grey Ditch, if he ends up dying or if you end up killing him. This one protects for 4, weighs 1, gives you +10 science, and gives you +20 radiation resist. This is actually really good. +10 science is a lot, especially for being able to hack things. So if you do end up killing him, this one is probably going to go up into like Survivor's Choice, maybe even to Wasteland's Best if you just really need to get that science to start hacking stuff. I guess the only downside to that is that technically there is an infinite amount of big books of science in this game, so you can actually go without that. This still gives you the plus radiation resistance, though. It's not quite as good as a radiation suit, but it's not bad. Then we've got Maple's Garb. This one, protect for 15, weighs 2, which is actually pretty good for armor. And this one gives you +1 perception and +1 agility. This is interesting. It's actually pretty decent because you can use it for lockpicking, you could use it for an energy weapons build. The defense is actually pretty good. 15 armor is nothing to scoff at for clothing, so I'm going to put this up into Survivor's Choice. I think it's actually pretty decent. Then we've got all of the Merc outfits. So this is the Merc Charmer, Adventurer, Cruiser, Grunt, Troublemaker, and Veteran armors. These all have the exact same stats. They're just, again, color swaps from one another, to where these protect for 12, which is pretty decent, weigh 8, and they give you +2 melee weapons and +2 small guns. These are fine for armors early on, especially if you like the look of them. They're pretty much on par with something like Raider armor. They're less defense but less weight, so if you're okay with that, they're probably going to go into the casual wear, but they're nothing weight crazy. I wouldn't choose this over regular armor generally, and it's usually not too difficult to get decent armor early on. Then we have the Naughty Nightwear. You can also get this in the Grey Ditch tunnels, and you get a funny scene along with this, as well as you can potentially sell this to a guy named Ronald as well. Not this Ron, different Ron in the game, but this one gives you +1 luck and +10 speech. The Naughty Nightwear is really good. It's actually really, really nice, especially if you want to rush it, because that +10 speech is super good for just getting through certain quests. So I'm going to put this one up into the Wasteland Best because it's just really nice to have. It's also one of the few items that actually gives you luck. It's probably not worth running this on like a crit build, because I would still probably go with armor over this, since this doesn't have the most item HP, but it is lightweight, only weighing 1, so that's super nice. Then we have the Neuro Interface Suit. This one you only get 1 of, and this is just to get into the simulation in Operation Anchorage. That's really the only reason to be using this, because this protects for 3, it weighs 10, which is really heavy, and it doesn't have any other bonuses to it. So I'm going to put this into Tattered Rags, because it's just not worth using. It's worse than most clothing. If it had some other bonus, like, again, science or lockpicking or something like that, it would be a bit more useful, but you just have better options than this. Then we've got the Oasis Robes. These ones protect for 4, weigh 3, don't have great item HP. They're going to go into the Tattered Rags. The next one is a little bit better with the Oasis Villager Robes. These ones protect for 4, weigh 2, don't have any other things on them. Also going to go into tattered rags. You just don't need them. Armor is better than these unless you just really like the look of it. But if you're doing that, just go with Maple's garb. It's better. Then we got the Outcast robe. This is just as bad as the Brotherhood robe. Just it's black. So better or worse depending on if you like black or red more. 2 defense, way 2, have no other effects. Tattered rags, they go. Then we got Poulsen's outfit. Poulsen is the cowboy in Mothership Zeta, and if he dies, then you can pick up his outfit. And Poulsen's outfit's actually pretty decent. I mean, I do like the way that it looks. This one protects for 5, weighs 3, nothing crazy there. This one does have a little bit above average item HP for clothing, but it's still not great. And this one gives you +1 charisma, +10 small guns, and +5 speech. That's actually pretty good, especially for the speech, because you could have the charisma on there and it's basically +7 speech. That's nice, and +2 barter. Small guns is nice too, so if you want to rush Mothership Zeta, this is decent. I'm going to put it up in Survivor's Choice. And then we've got the Red Racer jumpsuit. This one is just like a lot of our other jumpsuits that we talked about. So this one protects for 2, weighs 1, gives you 5 repair. It's going to go up into Wasteland Casual because it's okay, but again, the Vault Tech outfit the Vault Utility outfit kind of outdoes these jumpsuits. You probably just want to keep that around with you. And then we got Red's jumpsuit. This one you can only get from Red, which he's part of a quest, so you probably don't want to do that, at least right away. This one protects for 1, weighs 3, and gives you +5 small guns. This is just not that great. It's going to go here. It's worse than like the Chinese jumpsuits. They at least protect for a little bit more, but either way, they're fairly comparable, and it's really not worth like killing her to take this. Then we got the Regulator Duster. This one you get from the Regulator, so you do need to have the perk Lawbringer, and then you can get this from them, as well as you get access to their location, and then you can bring the fingers of bad people to them so you can get more money, which is kind of nice because every raider counts as that most of the time you're fighting raiders. This one protects for 10, weighs 3, has better than average item HP, has +1 charisma, has +5 small guns. This is just a worse version of Poulsen's outfit, except for its defense. Its defense is a little bit better, but I'm still going to put it in Wasteland Casual. It's okay, but you could do better for armor, and you could also do better for the bonuses that it gives you. Next up is Robco Jumpsuit, same as our other jumpsuits, protects for 2, weighs 1, gives you +5 repair. It's going to go up there. It's just colored in blue. The Roving Trader outfit is 2 defense, 2 weight, and it gives you +5 barter. This one honestly isn't too bad to have at the start. It's not as good as like this one for speech, but I'm going to put it up into the casual. It's decent enough. It's okay, especially if you want to get better prices and you want to stretch your budget out a little bit more. It can be really good if it's like your first time playing Fallout 3 and you don't know where to get a whole lot of money. The Sexy Sleepwear you can actually find just in any sort of suitcases. This one gives you 1 defense and it weighs 1, as well as gives you +1 charisma. +1 charisma is decent, especially if you get this early on. It could be argued as good as like speech, but I think the speech is better for more options. So I'm going to put this one into casual wear as well. But this isn't a bad option. Although if you want to go with this, you could rush something like the Naughty Nightwear. That's going to be better. You could also argue the same thing with the dirty pre-war stuff, but I don't know. These skills are pretty useful. Like just having more speech, having more barter is nice in the early game. Then we've got the Tattered Slave outfit as well as the Slave Rags. And these ones do the same thing. They are 2 defense, 2 weight, and they give you +1 agility, +1 endurance. They're the same as like the Brahmin outfit that we already talked about and all the settler gear. So they're going to go into the Tattered Rags, which, yeah, they're not the greatest, but you do get them as soon as you get to the pit, and there's not a whole lot of different clothing, at least available at the very start of the pit. Then we've got Tenpenny's outfit, which is unique to Tenpenny. You do need to kill him to take this off of him, or I guess you could reverse pickpocket him. This one protects for 2, weighs 2, and gives you +1 charisma and +2 small guns. This is the same as Eulogy Jones's outfit. You could argue that this one looks better or worse than that one, so it's going to go up here into the Commonwealth Casual as well. Then we move on to our superhero outfits here with the Antagonizer's outfit, which this one is actually pretty decent. This one protects for 20, weighs 15, so it is more close to armor than it is to clothing, and it gives you -1 charisma, +1 agility. This is actually pretty decent. The charisma doesn't matter too much. +1 agility is good on armor, and the defense stats are actually pretty decent. They're not the strongest of the clothing that we have talked about, but this is still going to go up into Survivor's Choice. I think it's still really good armor. The Mechanist outfit is actually pretty much the same, where this one also protects for 20, weighs 15, gives you -1 charisma, although this one is +1 endurance. You could argue whether endurance or agility is better than one another, because agility makes it so you can reload faster, you get more action points. Both those are really important, and then endurance just makes you tankier. That is also pretty important, so this one's also going to go up into Survivor's Choice. It totally depends on which one you like more and who you end up siding with, assuming that you don't end up not siding with either of them and kill both of them, then you could take both outfits if you would like. Then we got the Surgeon's Lab Coat. This one is a bit better than some of the other lab coats we've talked about. So this one protects for 2, weighs 1, and this one gives you plus 10 medicine and plus 5 science. That's actually pretty good. Again, the science is going to be the more selling part of this, but plus 10 medicine is actually worth taking, at least if you want to have this, just to get more use out of your stim packs. So, or your right away, I guess. I'm going to put it up here into Survivor's Choice. It's actually pretty decent. Still not one of the best clothings, but not a bad choice. Then we've got Tribal Garb. You can find this on any of the tribals in Point Lookout. This one protects for 12, weighs 5, doesn't have any other effects. This one, again, is okay for armor, especially if you want to rush Point Lookout right away, but at the same time, you can probably still get better armors before you go there. This is more like if you get there and you don't have any other options, then throw on the Tribal Guard, because it'll at least protect you some amount, so it's okay. Then we got Vance's Long Coat. You get this from Vance if Vance dies, or if you end up killing Vance. And this one protects for 10, weighs 4, which is decent. This one has plus 1 Charisma, plus 1 Perception, and plus 10 Small Guns. Pretty decent, honestly, and it does look pretty cool. This one I would probably put higher than the casual wear, because it is better than most of the stuff we have in casual wear. It's still not amazing. It's still not one of the Wasteland best, and I'd probably be on the low end of this one, but it's still decent if you do end up wanting to take that. You can also take a Shish Kebab then too, and his Vampire's Edge, assuming that you get that one there. Then we've got the Sheriff Duster. The Sheriff Duster you can actually get right at the very start. If Lucas Sims ends up dying, you can take it off of him. This one protects for 5, weighs 3, has plus 1 Charisma, has plus 5 Small Guns. It's not really worth taking, although it does look cool, but this one's also going to go into the casual wear. Then we've got the Wasteland Doctor Fatigues. This one is 2 defense, 2 weight, and it gives you plus 5 medicine. It's another casual wear. The plus 5 medicine is kind of nice. I have the Businesswear on here again. This is the exact same as this one up here. So if you get Businesswear early on, you should probably grab this. I don't know why I had 2 of those, but yeah, it's the same. It just gives you plus 5 speech, and if you get it early on, that's really nice for the start. Next up, we have the Winterized Chinese Jumpsuit. You can get this one in Anchorage as well. Sort of. You probably have to spawn this one in. It's not nearly as good as General Jigwee's outfit, which is kind of a problem, because this one protects for 6, weighs 2, has pretty much infinite item durability, and has plus 5 small guns. This is better than something like the regular dirty Chinese outfit, because it is unbreakable, it looks a whole lot better, and it actually protects for an okay amount, but it's still not incredible. You probably still don't even want to go for it, even though it is unbreakable. You have better options there. Then we have the Workman overalls, which these ones you can also find all over Point Lookout, which is very nice. These ones protect for 2, weigh 2, and they give you plus 10 repair. These are really nice to have around because you can repair your weapons a lot easier and your armor a lot easier with this. So I would highly recommend that you get this early on if you're going to rush Point Lookout. And yeah, this one's going to go up into Survivor's Choice. It's really, really nice. And then our last one here is the Wasteland Legend outfit, which this one is basically the same as a lot of the Merc outfits. So this one protects for 12, weighs 8, and has plus 2 melee weapons and plus 2 small guns. This one is just a little bit different from them, which is why it's kind of here as well. It's still going to go into the casual wear. I still don't think it's really worth getting, but at least it is kind of something. So this is where I'd put all of the clothing in Fallout 3. A lot of the clothing in Fallout 3 can honestly be kind of disregarded. Most of it doesn't help you that much, but there are a couple standouts like the Naughty Nightwear. If you want to go for General Jigwee's outfit, that one is arguably one of the best armors in the game. General Chase's overcoat is really cool, but you do have to cheat it in. And then some of these other ones like Workman overalls are really worth getting if you want to rush certain DLCs. So there is some pretty good clothing, but not a whole ton of it overall. Tell me your thoughts on this though. Tell me where you'd place them. Thank you guys so very much for watching this. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye!